Well, welcome back to the Always Free podcast. This is the number one podcast for financial empowerment and wealth creation. And if this is the first time you're listening, go back and listen to episode 1 and start listening there. You'll get the most from this podcast if you listen to those first few. But if you're not new, welcome. I'm coming to you from the Maldives. This island is Elidhu, and I've just wrapped up doing some snorkeling, which has been amazing. And it's actually sparked the conversation or the topic that I want to get into on this particular episode. And it's kind of two things that happened. One that happened yesterday here, and one that happened earlier on in the week. And it's about calculated risk and how you must understand calculated risk to get the life that you want. I know that is banded around and people say, oh, you've got to take risks and all that, but I don't see many people giving too much practical solutions to it and explaining it in a way where you can really see how it does affect your steps, where you go in life, what you achieve in life, what the experiences that you can have in life. So I want to talk about that a little bit, because right now I'm sitting on this deck. I'm in the middle of the Indian Ocean, and there's a beautiful turquoise sea, and on the horizon is, just nothing but ocean, which is absolutely beautiful. Now, to get to this island, you have to take 2 commercial jets, and then a seaplane, and then a boat, right? Which a lot of people think, oh, God, that's risky. Seaplanes are a bit dodgy, and there's higher chances of getting into all sorts of trouble. And just yesterday, we were sat. There's a feeding area here on this island where the boats come in and dock. It used to be a feeding area. They don't feed fish anymore because they let them feed wild. But they remember, right? All these big fish come in, these sharks come in, and we went round snorkeling. We got to the corner where we would just go around the corner to see these big sharks, where the big sharks hang out. And I stood at the corner, and I was just at the corner, and I hesitated. We both hesitated a little bit, and even though I know I could swim, I knew that the sharks were very, very unlikely to be attack me or whatever. There was a moment of hesitation, and I thought at that point, it's like that's exactly what most people do when they're kind of standing on the edge of a financial decision, or on that corner of a financial decision, or a new business idea, or a new investment opportunity, or a shift away from trading time for money. And what they do is they hesitate. They get to that point, that corner, that jetty before they jump in, and they hesitate. And it's not because what they're about to do is reckless. What I was going to go and swim with the sharks wasn't reckless, right? But it's because you're stepping away from familiar. And whenever you step away from familiar, it always feels risky, even when it's calculated. Here's the thing. Every single fulfilling moment in my life has come from calculated risk. Not reckless gambling, not blind leaps, but decisions made with clarity, a bit of courage, and the most important thing, a commitment to see it through. And I think too many people confuse comfort with freedom. They think, well, if you're free and you've got this free life, you're really comfortable. Actually, it's counterintuitive to think that way. You can't get to freedom without taking calculated risks. You can't live a life that is inspiring and empowering to you by not taking calculated risks. Comfort, I would say, is the enemy of growth, right? And it's growth that creates the life that most people say that they want, but they never claim it because they never jump off the thing. They never go around the corner. They never take that financial decision. And financial freedom isn't just about having more money. It's about having the power to choose where you live, what you work on, who you spend your time with, where you sit, the experiences you have, where you go in the world, what you do with your mornings, what you do with your life. But you only get that level of freedom if you're willing to make bold, informed decisions with calculated risks when most other people just retreat to the shore. They step away. They don't take action. And at every moment in life, you're going to come to these points where you and hundreds of others are in the same situation, and most will give up. And it's only choosing to carry on and choosing to put your foot in the water, turn in that corner, is what's going to separate you and put you in the minority. And the thing is, if you keep going, you will get the life that you want. You can't, if you've done all the things that don't work, eventually something's going to work, right? But most people get stuck at one thing that doesn't work, and then they don't try again. They don't even bother doing the next thing or adapting and learning and all the rest of it, right? The other thing I wanted to mention on this, which is kind of coincidentally really, but there was a guy who was messaging me on Instagram, sending me voice notes, and this guy was in a similar situation. He was actually a very similar situation, and he wanted to take his business to the next level. He wanted to scale his business. I think he was like a one-man band, and he wanted to take on another member of team, and he just couldn't pull the trigger. He just didn't have the guts to pull the trigger. And I said, why? What's the thing? And he said, my question to him was, what are you afraid of? And he said, I'm afraid of losing it all. I'm scared of losing it all. And I said, if you don't mind me asking, what is your financial position? What's your financial situation? And he said, he's got about $4,000 in savings, okay, but he's got 40 grand of debt. He has 40 grand of debt, right? And he earns about 800 a week. And I said, mate, you have nothing to lose, literally nothing to lose. And although he was like kind of a bit jovial about it, he was laughing about it, but I think it sunk in, because so many people are terrified of taking risks, even when they've got nothing on the line. This guy has 40 grand in debt, negative net worth, right? Now here's the thing, if you're afraid of losing a negative net worth, right, you'll be even more afraid once you start building wealth, because fear doesn't come from your finances. It comes from your programming, what's going on inside your head. That's where it comes from. We've been conditioned by school and well-meaning parents and society to avoid risk like the plague. Don't cross the road unless I'm holding your hand. Don't speak to strangers. Stick to what's safe, right? We've all heard these things, and that's programming. It's to keep you programmed to avoid risks, but it's also keeping you broke, right? So 2 key things that I think people who get over this hurdle understand, that people who don't understand, is financial abundance, right? Financial abundance is having money and cash flow, right? Financial security is knowing that you can generate income anywhere, at any time. And they're not the same thing, okay? I know plenty of people, I've told you, I know millionaires who are petrified of losing what they've built. I told you about the guys in Dubai. They're running, hustling, right? And they've never trained their mindset. They're not secure mentally. They're just wealthy and afraid. They're rich and scared. And that's not the same. That's not the goal either, right? So if you want to start taking smarter, calculated risks today to move towards the life that you want, and you want to start having the experiences that you want in life, there's 3 things that you can do, and I recommend you do these straight away, right? 1, audit your beliefs. Audit your own beliefs. Ask yourself, who taught me to fear risk? And whatever that risk was, and whoever that was, is that belief still serving me today? Is that the best thing that could serve me today by having that fear, that fearing that particular risk? And write a list of them, okay? Number 2 is redefine what security actually means to you, because it means different things to us as we grow, right? Security at one point in my life was holding my mum's hand across the road. Now, I don't want to hold my mum's hand across the road anymore. I think people might look at me a bit funny, right? But stop trying to tie your security to a number in your bank balance as well. All right? This is something I've done in the past as well. And start trying to tie your security, the feeling of security, to your ability to produce. That's really empowering. I spoke about this on the debate a reaction video, Diary of a CEO. And when you take action, when you're taking actions and you're deliberately moving towards something and you're taking everything in your control to move forward, when you're developing and you're building and you're producing and you're serving, that reduces anxiety immediately because you feel in control. The best way out of sitting there anxious, depressed, worried about the tax man, the money man, all this kind of stuff is to go and start serving. Go out, go and produce. That is, and tie your feeling of security to your ability to reproduce, to produce. Okay, not reproduce, to produce. Because then it doesn't matter what money, what currency we've got. It just doesn't matter because the feeling of abundance and security is in your own ability to go and serve and produce and do things and be useful. That's the top tip. And the third one is take one small risk today, right? Message someone you admire, launch the idea, invest in a mentor, go and do that program, get uncomfortable a little bit, right? Invest the money, go and make a payment, go and do something that will invest in your future, go and make the move, right? And realize that the fear was all in your head. It was all in your head. Taking calculated risks isn't reckless. It's the only way to escape mediocrity. And the life that you want, the life that you've got in your head, that dream life, that ideal life that you've got in your head is waiting on the other side of all of that. You're not going to get there just being, being safe and trying to avoid calculated risks. So you've got to go and get it, right? You're standing on this edge of a decision, on the corner of a decision, wondering whether or not to take that step. You're hesitating, right? So you want to go and start getting comfortable with taking risks. The way I look at it is this: the world that you experience, which we only have a short life, and you want to live the best life for as much of that time as possible. So you need to get there as quick as possible, right? And whatever that is, whatever you experience, that is going to be filtered through some imaginary lens that you're wearing. All right. You can choose a murky lens that avoids risk and avoids ownership and avoids taking responsibility, or you can wear a lens of growth and a lens of ownership, right? Because until you change that story in your mind, you'll keep playing and reliving the same chapter over and over again until one day you'll have a midlife crisis, or you'll just be full of resentment. So you have to not fear the jump. Don't fear going around the corner. Don't fear standing on the jetty and not jumping in. Freedom doesn't come to those who wait. It comes from those who prepare and plan and move and take calculated risks. This island is responsible for one of my biggest moments of gratitude. In 2018, I sat here and I placed a couple of trades at the bar, and by the time we finished our drinks, the trades played out, they both hit profit, and they paid for the entire trip, plus we upgraded seats on the way home. So that is that is where you want to be. Even I couldn't believe I was at that point, but I would never have got there if I had been waiting, trying to avoid risk, trying to avoid ownership, and all the rest of it, right? So whatever it is you're going to do, whatever decision you're waiting to make, whatever step you're waiting to take, go and revisit the goals. Ask yourself, what's the worst that could happen? But most importantly, ask yourself, what's the best that can happen? I don't think that's more important. I don't think many people ask themselves, what's the best that can happen, and focus on that. So hopefully that's useful. If it has, please share it with other people or someone else that you need to hear it. And if you've got any questions, DM me on the socials and I'll be sure to answer you back and message you back. And until next time, take care. Have a great rest of your day. Be always free. And I'll see you then.
Subscribe to this podcast so you don't miss an episode. For news on all future events and updates, go to jasongreystone.com.